Since the beginning of February, Ukrainian defense forces have launched some of the most intense and strategic operations in the Kramatorsk and Bakhmut regions, striking deep into Russian military infrastructure. These offensives, led by the elite Phoenix unit and the Magar team, have focused on eliminating Russian armored vehicles, military supply trucks, ammunition depots, and artillery positions. With their logistical lines under constant attack, Russian forces have struggled to maintain their momentum, suffering devastating losses that have severely impacted their ability to resupply and reinforce frontline positions. One of the most significant developments in these operations has been the advanced use of FPV, first-person view, drones. While traditional military tactics rely on air superiority through jets and helicopters, Ukrainian forces have revolutionized modern warfare with drone strikes capable of pinpoint accuracy. Russian troops have attempted to counter these threats by using electronic jamming and relocating assets into underground bunkers, but Ukrainian engineers quickly adapted by developing fiber-optic drone guidance systems. These drones can now operate deep behind enemy lines up to 20 kilometers away, without losing connection, making them the perfect weapons for striking high-value targets hidden under layers of concrete. In early February, Ukrainian intelligence pinpointed the location of a cluster of Russian vehicles, including T-90 tanks, BMPs, and armored personnel carriers, stationed near a warehouse in the Donetsk region. The Phoenix unit launched a coordinated drone assault. The first strike was a direct hit, setting fire to an armored vehicle and sending Russian soldiers fleeing. Recognizing an opportunity to inflict maximum damage, the team deployed additional drones to ignite a chain reaction, targeting fuel supplies inside the warehouse. Within moments, secondary explosions erupted, engulfing the entire structure in flames. The aftermath was catastrophic for Russian forces. The heat from the explosion was so intense that it melted the metal plating on some of the vehicles. 3 armored personnel carriers were completely destroyed, while 1 tank managed to escape the inferno. However, it didn't get far. Ukrainian operators, using their advanced tracking systems, launched a chase drone. The first strike forced the tank off the road. Then, a second drone carrying 6 anti-tank mines swooped in for the final blow. The resulting explosion was so violent that the turret of the tank was blown clean off, landing several meters away. Russian soldiers abandoned the wreckage in a desperate scramble for safety, one of them even dropping his helmet in the chaos. The 59th Brigade's deadly ambush, no escape for Russian troops. A few days later, in a separate confrontation, Russian reinforcements attempted to reclaim lost ground by sending a tank with 4 soldiers into the battlefield. Unbeknownst to them, the 59th Brigade had been monitoring their movements for hours. As soon as the tank entered the combat zone, an FPV drone struck with pinpoint accuracy. One soldier, unfortunate enough to be at the impact site, was critically wounded, while the others abandoned him and attempted to flee. The battle quickly escalated. The Russian tank attempted to retreat at full speed, reaching nearly 70 km/h, but FPV drones are much faster. A high-speed chase ensued, with the drone closing the distance rapidly. The first strike disabled the vehicle's turret, and a second drone followed up with a direct hit on the engine block. With its mobility crippled, the tank became an easy target for artillery fire. Moments later, it was completely destroyed. Nearby, another BMP had been immobilized after hitting a landmine. The Ukrainian forces wasted no time, sending a drone to finish the job. A single explosive strike turned the vehicle into a burning wreck. In an adjacent field, a tank and another BMP were stranded side by side, their tracks completely shattered. A Ukrainian drone operator took advantage of the opportunity, striking the tank's ammunition reserves. The resulting explosion wiped out both vehicles in an instant, leaving only charred debris in its wake. Eliminating artillery threats, precision strikes on Russian howitzers. Artillery remains one of Russia's most potent battlefield tools, but it comes with a major drawback. Heavy artillery units take time to reposition, making them ideal targets for drone warfare. Recognizing this weakness, Ukrainian drone operators have launched multiple precision strikes against Russian howitzers. In one particularly rewarding operation, an FPV drone locked onto a Russian 152 mm howitzer and flew directly into the barrel of the cannon. The impact shattered the weapon, rendering it completely useless. The footage from the attack showed the gun crew scrambling in shock. Within moments, another drone struck a second artillery position, delivering the same result. Without functioning artillery, Russian troops were left defenseless against incoming Ukrainian counteroffensives, destroying supply convoys, strangling the Russian war machine. Russian logistical convoys have also become prime targets. Military trucks carrying ammunition and fuel are the lifelines of an army, and without them, Russian forces cannot sustain their operations. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones have been tracking these convoys, launching devastating ambushes that have left supply lines in ruins. One such operation involved a military truck traveling through a dense forest, likely transporting ammunition to the front. The FPV drone operator locked onto the moving target and executed a perfect strike. The explosion was instant, igniting the truck's fuel reserves and turning it into a blazing wreck. The fire was so intense that the vehicle burned for hours, leaving no trace of the supplies it carried. February's devastating tally: Russian losses mount. In just the first 2 weeks of February, Ukrainian forces successfully eliminated 6 Russian tanks, 7 BMPs and armored personnel carriers, 2 military transport trucks, 4 IA ammunition depots hidden in forested areas, 3 artillery batteries, including 2 destroyed by direct drone strikes to the barrel, 2 high-tech drone signal jammers deployed by Russian forces, 1 strategic fuel storage site. Each of these strikes has contributed to the degradation of Russian military capabilities, making it increasingly difficult for them to sustain their war effort. A new era in warfare: the rise of fiber-optic drones. The introduction of fiber-optic guidance in FPV drones is transforming the battlefield. Unlike traditional drones, these advanced systems are completely immune to Russian electronic jamming. With fiber-optic drones, Ukrainian operators can now strike high-value targets deep behind enemy lines with unparalleled precision. Conclusion: Ukraine's tactical superiority continues to grow. Throughout February, Russian forces have attempted multiple offensives, but Ukrainian drone operators and artillery teams have consistently outmaneuvered them. The Phoenix unit and the Magar birds team, using a combination of FPV drones, nighttime bombing missions, and real-time intelligence, have decimated Russian supply lines and eliminated dozens of high-value targets. Despite Russia's attempts to adapt, Ukraine's resistance only grows stronger. The ability to neutralize key assets before they reach the battlefield has given Ukraine a strategic advantage that continues to shape the war. As new technologies emerge, Ukrainian forces are proving that innovation and tactical intelligence can overcome sheer numbers. The war is far from over, but one thing is clear: Ukraine's drone warfare is rewriting the rules of modern combat. In the coming weeks, we will continue to bring you more stories from the front lines, showcasing the bravery, ingenuity, and resilience of Ukraine's defenders.